You've been told if you keep your head down, work hard, and prove yourself, recognition, promotions, and opportunities will come. But let's be honest, that's just not true. This is Lead Without Limits, a podcast for professionals in multifamily and beyond who are ready to stop second-guessing themselves. Because leadership isn't just about titles or tactical skills. Yes, we'll cover those here, but real leadership starts from within. It's about changing the beliefs and behaviors that have kept you playing small and rewiring the thought patterns holding you back. I'm Shanenn Bryant, a confidence and pattern expert, and this is the space where we talk real growth, real change, and maybe have a little workday humor along the way. This episode is brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network, delivering the latest news, ideas, and inspiration across the multifamily sector. If you're ready to lead without fear, lead without doubt, and lead without limits, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Welcome back to Lead Without Limits. I'm Shanenn Bryant, and today's episode is all about something we rarely do, but absolutely need if we want to grow. And that is taking a personal power inventory. If you've ever felt like you're stuck, you're not enough, unsure of what your next move should be, today's episode is going to change all of that. You'll walk away with a proven process for mapping skills, setting your sights, and building a bridge from where you are now to where you want to be. And yes, there's a free worksheet that you can grab to make this process a little bit easier. Stick with me. I'll let you know where to get that. I want you to picture a time in your life, and maybe it's not even work, but a time where you had no idea what you were doing, but somehow you figured it out anyway. For me, it was when I started my coaching practice, there were so many things that I had to learn and skills that I had to acquire. It was much more than getting the certification. I feel like that was the super easy part, but it was then how do I build my website? How do I link my calendar to my Zoom account so that I was notified when people schedule their sessions? And how do I actually learn to coach people? You've probably experienced that before where it's like it all makes sense when you're going through the course or the certification. And then when you have to really go out and do it in the real world, it's a little bit different. So I actually had to kind of go back and practice the skills that I learned in the certification in real life examples and figure out how do I best coach people. So there was so much more to learn. And as I was going through all this, I had to come up with a strategy or a way to figure out what my current strengths, what I already had that would benefit me in my coaching practice. And then what skills did I still need to develop to go to that next level and achieve what I needed to achieve. In this episode, I'm going to walk through the 5-step exercise to get you crystal clear on the gifts you already have that you can use and take advantage of, and then what skills you need to develop to meet the goals and in the order you need to learn them. To make this easier, if you're listening on the go, no worries. I have provided my personal power inventory and skills development worksheet that you can download for free. It walks you through the exercise step by step. You can download it at topself.com/skills, or you can just simply click the link in the show notes below. So before we look ahead at what skills you might need to develop to accomplish the goals, let's first take inventory of where you are already and what you're already good at. This part of the process might be a little bit more familiar. Maybe you've done something like this in the past, but it's always good to go back and refresh the list of your current strengths because you've probably developed more skills since maybe the last time you did an inventory. If this part feels hard or feels hard to get going when you're trying to think of what skills do I already have, this is where that free worksheet really comes in handy. If you download it, you're going to see the very top, you're going to see 2 lists of words that might help to spark some ideas. So one for soft skills and then one for business or technical skills. So you don't have to start from scratch of trying to figure them out. Hopefully this will spark a little bit for you. So for the soft skills, look at the list of words. There's words like creativity, discipline, patience, empathy, social awareness. There are many more. But as you read through them, circle or highlight the ones that maybe you've been told you're good at. Maybe in the past, you've been told that you're a great organizer or that you're really good at staying calm in the chaos. That's a skill. So we want to make sure that you capture them. There's also a place. So you've got the whole list. You can circle or highlight the ones that stand out to you that you know that you have, mastered, that people have told you you're good at. There's also a place, if you don't see it in the list of skills, there's a place where you can add your own that maybe you've previously developed. So if you don't see it listed there, there is a place for that. If you need to, go ahead, hit pause here. If you want to start writing or filling out the worksheet, if you're just listening, you can pause this episode, get out your voice memo in your phone and just start listing your soft skills here. You can easily make a note and then transfer it later on the worksheet. So after you've done the soft skills, we're going to keep going with your current skills and we're going to look at the business or technical skills. Same thing. It's going to look very similar. There's going to be a list of words that will maybe spark something for you. There's everything from communication, public speaking, project management, maybe you're good at Excel or Airtable, sales, tech troubleshooting, but do the same thing, circle or highlight the ones that you've pretty well mastered or that you're a go-to person on your team or you always get asked to do. Those are the best ways to kind of figure out what you're already good at. And don't underestimate anything for either of those two categories. I had a supervisor years ago who was so good at turning meetings around. If people started to go sideways or if people were uncomfortable with the change or they had differences of opinion, the supervisor was really good at getting everybody like back on the same page and on board and at a happy medium. So think about those things as you go through this exercise. If you design a killer PowerPoint or you keep meetings on track, or you craft a powerful email, make sure to put that down. It counts. This brings up an area that often gets overlooked or not included, but it can be so valuable down the road. And I call them invisible skills that you might have. So for instance, I have a small group of friends that I hang out with. We've known each other. We went to junior high together. We've known each other since 7th grade. And one of them remembers all of her close friends' birthdays. She remembers dates like crazy. She also remembers phone numbers, and I moved around a lot, so that's pretty difficult. But without fail, every single year on my birthday, she will call me and sing happy birthday. Now, I can't say that singing is one of her invisible skills, but definitely the fact that she remembers and she's consistent no matter what. I know that she's going to call me. She always makes it a point to do that. It's just part of what makes her unique, what makes her her. And I'm sure that you have some of these invisible skills as well. Maybe you're also someone who remembers all of your friends' birthdays, like my friend, or you're the group text organizer, or you create awesome playlists, or you're good at keeping plants alive. Write those things down too. These can become important later. They can be part of your personal branding, and you can perhaps leverage these things, maybe using them to make connections. They may play a role later as you build that branding for yourself, as you try to gain visibility. So don't leave those things out. Those invisible skills are really important. Okay, that's step one, taking inventory on what your current strengths and your skills are, the soft skills, the business skills, and even those invisible skills. So now it's time to move on to part 2, and that's clarifying your goals. If you're using the free worksheet from the show notes, you're going to see a section labeled My Goals. Write out your top 3 to 4 goals that you'd like to accomplish, either this year, maybe it's as soon as next quarter, Maybe it's as far out as the next 3 years. I like to do 2 business goals and 1 personal goal, or 2 personal goals, 2 business goals, but whatever is most important to you right now. But I definitely would keep it at 3, maybe absolute max 4, so that it doesn't get too overwhelming. Maybe one of your goals is landing a promotion or starting a side business or leading a project, getting a certification, running your first 5K. Whatever those goals are, list them out. And here's the part that takes all of this to the next level. And this part of the process I learned from a fantastic life coach whose group I belong to named Stacey Bayman. But this is where you now map the required skills that are needed to achieve those goals. This is the part that we typically don't do. So for each of the goals you listed, think about the skills that you need to get there. This is really where you can reverse engineer your dreams. So let's say your goal is to lead a team. What might you need? Leadership, delegation, conflict resolution, maybe budgeting skills. And if you're not quite sure what skills might be required, ChatGPT it. Ask ChatGPT what skills are required to supervise our team. See what it says, and then compare your list. So what skills do you already have? And then what skills do you need to develop? I love using ChatGPT for this kind of thing. And also, okay, so I entered what skills are needed to run a 5K. And this is what it said. You might think running is the only skill you need to run a 5K, but it's not that simple. Here's what you actually need. And then it starts going into things like pacing, breathing technique, proper running form, endurance building, warm up and cool down. And for this one, so ChatGPT is trying to get cutesy with me because I talk to it with quite a bit of sarcasm, and because I use it so much in my business, it knows a lot about me, and it's giving me a little taste of my own medicine back. So under the warm up and cool down, it says, we both know you're not 19 anymore, so you would need to learn dynamic warm-ups before you run and stretch after to avoid hobbling around like Frankenstein. Rude, ChatGPT. But then it goes on to list other skills like hydration and nutrition basics, goal setting and tracking, race day logistics like what to wear and how to pin your bib so that it's not annoying you the whole time. But you can see for each one of your goals, put down all the skills that come to mind that are needed, or use ChatGPT to help you create that list of those skills that you need. Some of these you're already going to have, and then some of them will be new that you have to develop. So step 1 of the 5-step process is listing your soft, hard, and invisible skills. Step 2, what are your goals? Keep it to 3 to 4 max. Step 3, what skills are needed for those goals? Which do you already have, and which ones do you need to develop? Step 4 then is to inventory your resources. For the new skills that you haven't developed yet, list what resources you can use to develop them. So maybe you already have access to an online course. Maybe you have a mentor at work, or a podcast that you listen to, or a book that's sitting on the shelf that you haven't read yet. You might need to seek something out like Toastmasters. If you're trying to learn presentation skills and public speaking, maybe Toastmasters is a good a good resource to start at. Maybe it's joining a mastermind, buying a course. It could be as simple as you just have to dedicate time to practice the thing. And that might be a big one. So a lot of them, you're like, I know how to do it, but I haven't practiced. Like, I don't feel really good at doing it yet. So maybe it's just practicing. Jot down what you have and what you need. Remember, resources aren't just money. It could be people, it could be time, access to something, community. There's nothing better that will accelerate your growth more than getting into a community of people who are doing exactly what you want to do. Okay, before I give you the power move of the week, we have to do the last step. So step 5, this actually kind of brings the whole thing, ties this whole thing together and gets you into action. We have to build your timeline and your strategy. So what skills do you need to tackle first? Sometimes skills will build on each other. For example, you might need to practice public speaking before you can pitch your big idea. Or maybe the resource you need is only available at certain times of the year, or you and your mentor can't start until Q3, whatever it is, but this will give you a path to go down. So you want to assign each skill to a quarter or to a month, where that's the time frame where you're going to focus on that skill and develop that skill. So maybe Q1 is all about building your negotiation skills, or learning AI and how to automate things. Maybe Q2 is taking that project management course. So you'll just continue on as those build, Q1, Q2, or maybe it's month by month. But what are you going to focus on? What are you going to develop in each of those quarters? There's really no perfect order. It's just what makes sense for you and your goals. And of course, you've got to set aside the time to learn these needed skills. Work it into your work week. We overestimate what we can get done in a day, and we underestimate what we can accomplish in a year. So stick with it. Stick with your plan. Make it really thorough. I'm going to spend this amount of time in Q1 doing this amount of time in Q1 or Q2 doing this. And then check them off one by one. You'll be amazed at all of the skills that you've been able to develop at the end of the year. Okay, so this week, then, your power move is to complete your personal power inventory. So don't just listen to this episode, actually fill it out. Write down your current strengths and your skills, the big, the small, the invisible. Then choose the goals you want to accomplish, map out the exact skills that you need to get there. And maybe you identify just one skill gap, and then take single action, enroll in a course, schedule coffee with the mentor, ask for feedback, set aside time to practice whatever it is that's required to develop that skill within that time frame. But you don't have to try to tackle everything. Just take the first real step. That's how you get momentum, and then that momentum then turns into results. Remember, growth doesn't come from guesswork. It comes from knowing what you have, what you need, and being intentional. If you want a copy of the worksheet, again, visit topself.com/skills and download it for free, or you can just click the link below. When you've done it, share your top skill or the first action that you took. DM me, tag me on social, use #PowerInventory. I'd love to shout out your progress and keep you inspired so you can lead without fear, lead without doubt, and lead without limits.
Thanks for tuning in to Lead Without Limits and investing in what matters, you. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with a friend or colleague who might benefit as well. This podcast is brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network, your trusted source for stories, trends, and insights in multifamily living. I hope this moved you one step closer to lead without fear, lead without doubt, and lead without limits.